Okay, episode Lucky 13, we're talking about shrunken heads. 630,000 square feet of guns, baby octopus, countless drinks, and let's not forget about a killer steak. I'll see you on the other side.
Welcome to Home on the Range, the official podcast of 1881 Ranch, bringing you the latest on the products, topics, and techniques for the shooting, hunting, and adventure lifestyles. Here is your host, tactical deployment of small arms expert and 1881 Ranch Director, Will Egbert Jr.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Home on the Range. This is episode 13, Lucky 13. We're joined today in the studio with by our friend and yours, the internationally acclaimed Italian internet sensation, Eltenda.
Hola.
What? How'd the hola thing go?
It's better than last time, I guess.
Bueno. Also joining us today is again Chris, 1881 Events Director. Hello, Chris.
Hello.
How you doing? Do you get any sleep?
Yeah, a couple hours. That's all I need.
That's good.
You're getting old anyway. You're fine.
All right, so we've got some really crazy stuff going on here. This is Lucky episode 13. It's also Shot Show wrap-up from 2020. We have to say that this episode is brought to you in part by Lemba Artisan Rums. Today we're drinking an agricole rum, which is an artisan sugarcane rum out of the Dominican, but this is the French style. So this is really kind of this is more paired, as I've been instructed by by Lemba. This is to be mixed with fruit juice. So here it is, 50-50 with some pineapple juice and the Lemba agricole. I have a hard time saying that one, and I haven't even had a drink. It's 45% alcohol, so it's 90 proof, and I got to tell you, this is some very nice spirit, and it's made in the traditional French Dominican, sugarcane spirit. It's pretty great. So that'll come around as a wrap up here as well when we get back to the end of the killer steak that we had. That place was off the chain.
Yes.
All right. So what do we want to start with today, guys?
No, what we saw, maybe.
Yeah, we came, we saw, we
spammed.
Some of us got sick from handling too many things and then putting our fingers in our mouth, and that wasn't so great. So for those of you that don't understand or have never experienced it, there's something every year that's talked about and contracted, and especially this year because it was tagged with the coronavirus outbreak. It's called shot flu. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. I'm still looking at that, and it's been 3 weeks after, right? So typically everyone gets down with this. They call it shot flu, right? I mean, it's just, I don't know why everyone gets sick with it, but like the first 3 days of SHOT Show, everybody is like walking around like, festering bags of influenza. It's just disgusting.
Well, you got people from all over the world. It might be normal,
Might be normal because you're going into Vegas at that time. In January, everyone wants to go to Vegas because it's not super hot and it's super cheap. Well,
no, not that week.
Depend.
Not that week.
No, not that week. That week blows. All right, so we're going to walk you guys through what we saw, what we did for 6 days in SHOT Show, some of the really cool conversations we had with some some of the other companies. Chris has got some really cool products lined up that he's been talking with some customers or some companies about going in the pro shop. Fabrizio is here to fill us in on the Kami gun circuit.
Yeah, Nuglocks for me. Nuglocks, Nog R15. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Don't be sorry. I think this shot was like the first blooming. What do you call it? You bloom into
the year of the AK, maybe.
Yeah, it's the year of the AK. I think this is the year it finally became a notable platform as far as represented on the floor.
quality-wise too. I think there was a huge improvement on as far quality as actually the AK. You have the low-end one, and but you have also, well, I'll explain later maybe, but you have also the high-end ones, which actually was the most surprising thing.
Did you even see any AR-15s? I don't even think I saw 2 or 3 when I was there. There was very few.
Good ones, you mean?
Then there was that crazy one that was fired. There's no trigger on it. Did you see that?
Oh, the Blackwater
Oh,
one.
Yeah. So Eric Prince is back with another hedge fund, and they re-released Blackwater, the brand itself, right? The same logo and everything, but it's called Blackwater Ammunition, and they've got a 12-gauge shotgun. And they got an AR-15 style gun, right? It looks like it takes mags and pistol grips and everything, but it doesn't take pistol grips because the firing mechanism is actually on the thumb. There's no trigger.
Where your thumb rests.
Yeah, where your thumb, where the web of your hand is actually a hole, and you put your thumb in that hole, and you push down with your thumb.
Wow.
So it's kind of like clicking. Imagine clicking the back of a pen.
It's kind of cool.
Click, 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 click. You know what? The guy gave me his shtick. Chris and I were there, and I walked through it, and I don't want to say I'm an accomplished long-range shooter or shooter. I've done my turn, but I know what I'm looking at. The theory behind it seemed like BS. I put it in my hands, and 6-7 rounds later, 6 actuations later, damn if he wasn't right. There's no movement in the receiver or the irons, the alignment, and it seems like a much more accurate way, an easier way, more natural. Believe it or not, more natural. Like after it only took 10, 15, 20 clicks, actuations of the trigger, and you were sold. You were like, wow, I can really see this. I can feel it, and fast. It's just as fast as your index finger. It was it blew my mind because it was a complete departure from the norm. And I think that's what we're going to cover a lot of this today is we're not going to talk about Glock releasing the 22. No. What with a little aluminum insert on the thing so it can crack and all. Wonderful goose on. Who cares? Nah. Honestly,
older.
You walk up to the Glock booth and it's just dripping with fanboys, and it's just I understand it. I don't subscribe to it. It's a great firearm. We've talked about this before on other podcasts. I carry one. I have one. Yes, it's in my Armageddon bag. I'd never go anywhere without it if we're looking to go to war. But just because it's the most prolific platform around right now. But that didn't faze me. If you want to talk about the snakes, the new Colt Python. Yeah, okay, great. It's a new Python. Oh, it's got a great trigger because we're using modern machining. But those things they weren't notable to me. And as we're walking around, we're looking for movers and shakers in the industry to team up with. And the same thing that you saw on the AK side. You had your departure from, the old Palmetto and just the bottom base AK, moving all the way up. And Chris and I were able to talk to some other people that got some really neat things in the pipeline that depart from, the norm. And that are feeding off of something new that came out last year, I think, with the Ronin chassis from, CAA? Isn't that who did the drop-in Glock
Ronin,
chassis?
Yeah, CAA, and the other one is Fab Defense.
Fab Defense, right, exactly. So if you take that principle and you start shooting that off as a platform and down the road, there's some extremely innovative ideas there. I was talking to one of the engineers. We'll get to that in a second, but showed them a few things that that they were kind of like overlooking, and the platform was awesome. And Chris and I were like, fuck yeah, we're sold. Send me out a box right now. I'm gonna put everything in there.
Yeah, let's just so everybody gets a grip as far as the size of the show. It's beyond big, huge. It's the biggest trade show that they have out there.
I think it's the second largest, and it's going to eclipse the CES next year because of that added. They're going to put in another 150,000 square feet of floor space.
So that'll be what?
That was the number that I heard floating around through a couple of people.
800,000.
Yeah, so, it'll be wow.
For the average human being that has never been there, it's huge, and it is. You have to have a plan before you go. You have to know where you're going, who you're going to visit, because you'll never have enough time otherwise. The show only runs Tuesday through Friday, and
Friday's a short day.
yeah, Friday's a short day. You have to have all your ducks in a row before you go out there. Otherwise, it's a wasted trip. For us to fly 1,500 miles to go out there and stop at every single booth, it's impossible. And
you can stop briefly, but you can't talk to anybody.
Right.
You're not getting it done.
30 seconds at a booth or whatever it is. But for us to make this kind of trip to go out there and meet people, we're looking for different items that are not standard. We didn't stop off at the Glock booth. We didn't go
Smith & Wesson. Didn't thrill me.
No, I mean, they've got huge booths and they've got all that kind of stuff going on. But at the end of the day, they're brick and mortar. They're what they've always been. Their product is always there.
You got to remember, outside of Glock, Smith & Wesson, Remington,
SIG.
Well, not SIG yet, but they're all part of a conglomerate.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, so, I know where you're going.
So Smith & Wesson is part of
Freedom Group,
and then you've got Vista Outdoors. That's another conglomerate. And you've got all these different conglomerates. So change, innovation, and new things are not where they come from. That they don't come from those arenas typically.
I think you gotta have an objective point of view when you're looking at stuff. When I make an example, I never consider POF, POF.
Yeah.
And I stop at a booth because
so POF, for those of you that don't know, are Patriot Ordnance Firearms.
Classic plain AR from the outside.
Yeah.
But then I had to chance to open one because one of my buddy wants to buy one in Italy and they don't export to Italy yet, only to Germany. So it's a long story. We don't digress on that. So I had a chance to open it. I was actually surprised by the quality of the.
They've got a lot of innovation inside the gun.
You know what I mean?
Like when they broke the size barrier with putting an AR-10 in the framework of an AR-15, I was like, what? How'd you do that? And when you tear it apart, you're like, wow.
And the quality looks good too.
Quality is outstanding. I've got a POF that I've used for my hog gun, and it's a 308, and everything's ambidextrous on it. And there's bolt hold opens on the bottom of the gun where you can hit it with your finger. Brilliant. They've got their E2 design where it's stripping off gas on the bolt face to restrict, to limit pressure, like you and I were talking earlier today about the extractors. It's venting, pressure on the bolt face, and it's just amazing. So their guns are packed with internal innovations, and because the AR market is just absolutely flooded, it's it's like Venice right now. But
swamp.
So go ahead, Chris. It was, that's what we were looking for. That's what we were doing, and
we did see a lot of unique products, a lot of different companies. I think that we had a pretty good show. I think that the overall momentum of the show seemed like it had slowed down from past years. It didn't seem as
packed,
feverish. I think the numbers were a little bit down this year.
And we're going to look like idiots when the numbers come up and we have 15% more.
Yeah, but who said that? Who's coming up with those numbers? The same people that are charging, $15,000 per square foot for a booth. I mean, let's see the data behind that.
Yeah, right. I want to see that quantified.
Yeah.
I heard they had a big issues with the passes this year too. Like a lot of problems. Sorry. For example, we personally, as I was over there with my Italian friend, we had bigger delay because they want to know you work for, they want to prove for the, a bunch.
Well, that's good, and you can
understandable.
imagine there was a lot of increase in media this year, like between the YouTube channels, the this, the that, the other thing. This is an industry show. This isn't a social media shit show.
No.
That's not what this is for. This is for people to make their purchases for the year, to get with their distributors, to find out what new product is coming down the pike, so they can actually go to, a few seminars, which I'm going to touch on here in a second. I think I'm going to make a suggestion. And of course, we're minuscule, right? We're teeny, but they can go to seminars and they can get information in an industry that is typically shunned to be talked about openly in everyday circles as a viable industry. And when you see the amount of firearms, ammunition, and accessories that are sold that go into the Pittman Roberts Fund that actually support our country and our conservation efforts as a nation and as an ecological entity, it's absolutely, it's just amazing. So coming back around to that, it's the only place you can go to do that. So to minimize it, and allow people to run around with their little cameras and, just have their YouTube channel talking, it almost gets to the point where people look at it and they go, well, why should I spend the $5,000 to go? Because by the time a normal person with a gun shop goes and they've got 2 or 3 guys with them and they're looking to buy, and they've got their hotel room, they've got some food, you're putting $4,000 or $5,000 into a trip out there, and that's in most gun stores that's a very big cost.
We went to NRA last year, and NRA is a very good show. There's a lot of different companies there. There's a lot of people there. They may not be there as a vendor or what have you, having a booth, but you will run into people at the NRA show. And for most of the people that we know in the Midwest, going to the NRA show is a better option. And I heard you can get a better deal at the NRA show because guess what? They're looking to make deals. You go to SHOT Show, you got to stand in line and wait.
Well, NRA show is actually, that's a door event. When I say door event, it means you can go there, purchase your 1-year membership to the NRA, and walk in the door, and that's that. And you can go around, you can meet celebrities, you can see all the new product. It's basically a mini SHOT Show, and it's good. It doesn't have everybody, because once again, SHOT Show is that annual show for the entire industry. It's like CES, right? So in some ways, you kind of have to have those badge issues where, look, I don't need everybody in the world coming into the show, and maybe that's why the attendance was down this year, is because they were starting to crack down on that kind of silly stuff. I think so. Maybe.
Even as a visitor, I'm not talking as media, I'm talking about actually to people, buyers. Yeah. I heard there's a bunch of people got problem then trying to booted.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing because they want to separate the good buyers, if you will, through the time. There's a bunch of people in the previous year. I don't even know why they were there.
Well, that's the other thing too, is how do you keep your booth space valuable? Is by having vendors make sales, getting orders. And if 90% of your customers have all got a little, an internet camera and are like, oh yeah, I'm going to do a review. Yeah, let's talk about this. Well, while you're sitting there talking about this to a bunch of people, you're also neglecting the person that's trying to buy the product and keep you in business. So it's a very slippery slope.
If the NSSF was smart, which I think they're already
they're there
pondering this idea, they're going to make SHOT Show into a 5-day event.
They have to lengthen it, or they have to separate it.
They will do it 2 more days. If they did it Saturday and Sunday and open it to the public.
Oh my God, pandemonium.
Now you've got, but look at the door fee, look at the entry. Now you've got all these guys there.
Even if you make the first 2 days media and open to the public. Get them in, get them out.
No, that's got to be at the end.
You think so?
Yeah. Your average company is going to deal with the average human being. You see them at the SHOT Show, with the strollers and their 4-wheelers and their
they're at NRA every year like that. They got their dogs on the cart with them.
You're tripping over people with animals and children. That would have to be like maybe a 1-day deal at the end of the line.
Maybe,
but
that's a good idea. I really think that there's so much great information in some of their seminars that you can't go to the seminars, meet 4 or 5. Go to 4 or 5 of these things and still have enough time to walk half the show. So I think they have to do something about that. They have to put all the seminars in like 1 day, 2 days prior to the show, or maybe after the show, where you can have some okay, I don't need to walk anymore. I can. What did we put on? 10 miles a day?
And
on the average, it was like 5.5, 6 miles a day.
And I was there Tuesday. I was supposed to leave Friday, and still we didn't hit any range events.
Nope, none.
Nope.
And we
that's why I think next year it's just going to be an intergalactic kegger at a house. We're going to put it up, and that's that.
Well, you got to have this year. They had.
We're getting scooters. We're getting scooters.
Rascals. They had. Well, the only thing you had to that this year they also stretched the industry day. The first day, normally is on Monday. There's a day where everybody that makes stuff, actually OEM and stuff like that, or machine, laser machine, other stuff like that, tumbler, something like that. It's always normally on Monday. They extend it to Tuesday. I find it interesting because I work in the industry.
But they did that last year also.
Only Monday.
No, it was Tuesday
too. So
Yeah.
the year before that. Well, anyway, that's a good thing because there's a big potential for them money-wise on these 2 days because they're interesting stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
if you're business,
if you're not a tweaker and a builder, before you go into manufacturing, you have no idea what kind of parts you're looking for, machinery and stuff like that. So,
and they make everything as well. Yeah, I mean, there's amazing company that make. There was a guy with an electronic trigger. I think weird stuff. I'm like, you see that one?
Electronic trigger has been floating around for about 15 years now.
Like, what the?
Yeah, every time it disappears, it comes back the following year, and it's off a year. It's back on a year. No one can get behind it because it's just it's electronic. Why do I want an electronic trigger? My finger works just great. A lot of things about an electronic trigger that are really cool, especially for competition in that. But we digress. All right, so we talked about 630,000 square feet of guns and a shooting accessory. No, it wasn't gear, clothing, everything. Outdoor research. Oh man, I fell in love with their new gear. And we're talking to the main guy, and Chris and I are standing there, and he's like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want all the guys at the ranch in the wintertime, we're going to wear outdoor research, the new white camis, the hoodies, the bibs, everything. That's how we're going to, because we got to stay warm when we're out and around, moving around with the trucks and everything. Because I don't think many people will be out shooting, but I think a lot of people will be out camping and off-roading. So that'll kind of be more heavy towards that late fall area and wintertime. And I'm like, we need to look smart. And their gloves are awesome. I mean, you saw those 3-finger gloves that I love, and then their mittens, and there's gloves inside of mittens, and it's just the best expedition gear in the world, I always thought. And this was coming back from the old North Face days when I was part of a mountaineering team. Old North Face stuff is not like what's manufactured today. You see the little girls walking around in their little fuzzies and, you know, their Han Solo attire. Totally different. But outdoor research still makes serious gear for serious mountaineering. And when you talk about lightweight, ultra performance, and no BS, it's always been OR. Now they've got their multicam line, and it's just good stuff. Really wicked stuff. So there's all that. What else have you? Shrunken heads? You want to depart for a second, or you want to? No, let's pepper this around. Let's keep this interesting. What did I mean by shrunken heads? Is just that. Shrunken heads. Little dudes. Little girls. I mean, that sounds weird. People made into little versions of themselves. Teeny versions of themselves. Creepy. So last year when I was at this bar, should we all right, pause 1 second. Should we talk about that? Should we tell them the name, or should we ruin the spot?
No.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, we can mention it.
Yeah, all right, fine, we'll mention.
Free drinks. Yeah.
So there's a place called the Golden Tiki, and for the locals don't like the Golden Tiki. They think it's whatever. You got to go to the other tiki bar. Well, Frankie's, yeah. Chris and I like the tiki bar, the Golden Tiki, because it's really over the top and it's special effects oriented. And I went to school for industrial design and special effects, so when I see the shrunken heads, I know what went into that and how they should look, being of a certain caliber. And I'm like, wow, that's really cool. And then last year I got to meet the guy that sculpts these things. And it was amazing. He does work for the Smithsonian. And the whole bar is just got so much crazy stuff stuffed into it. Like Starry Night, LED or a fiber optic ceiling. You see like streaks of, like you would be out in the Polynesian Islands.
I really don't even want to talk about it with him, okay, because he was supposed to meet us there. But every year we go through this.
Here it comes.
Where they get held up. They're having dinner at 9 o'clock at night. In bed. Yeah, they're in bed by 10.
That's okay. He doesn't have to come. He doesn't have to come for those flaming tequila shots or flaming rum shots.
I was going to make a joke, probably no good. That's what she said. Anyway.
But the place is crazy. And every year we go, there's always something new. And that's, it was, believe it or not, part of Lemba is there. They support Lemba, and they're one of the big movers and shakers with those guys. So when we were talking to the owner of Lemba, we were going back and forth, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I got to go to the Golden Tiki." I'm like, "Dude, we go there all the time. I had no idea." He's like, "Oh, you get what was it? The Dole Whip."
Yeah.
The Dole Whip. I got one, and it's a big floater of, high test rum on this like soft serve pineapple, sorbet. And you have to eat it with a spoon because this thing's just spilling out everywhere, and it's a big sticky mess with all the foo stuff.
How am I going to eat this? I'm like,
the girl sitting next to us is like, I'm interested in watching you. How do you do that? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just going to dig into it, I guess. You got to eat half of the whip or half of this frozen drink with a spoon because there was no room in the glass.
Oh, okay.
Right? So you couldn't like stir it up and put the rum in the thing. The rum is floating in there like a traditional pina colada or something like that. Right? So I wolf that down and get a brain freeze and then start mixing it up. And then it was just like Katie bar the doors, crazy version of Will comes out. And then we keep going. At any rate, so that's where the Shrunken Heads came from. It was an annual thing we do. And it's
we should give a shout out to the zombie, the Rat Rod guys that were there. Oh, God, I can't think of their name. The guys were sitting by the door with the leather jackets on.
Oh, yeah.
They were cool.
Oh, yeah,
Good
they
people.
were nice people. Yeah. So that's where the Shrunken Heads came from. Just before that, I took Chris to a Korean barbecue joint where we're grilling in the middle of the table ourselves with baby octopus. And he freaked.
Flip out.
Yeah, he's not very culinary. His culinary adventures have not been...
Bologna.
Yeah, not been very worldly. They've been more like the kids' aisle.
Let me just put it to you
at
this
a convenience store.
You fly 1,500 miles.
Okay.
You've got X amount of appointments, X amount of meetings, all this work that you have to get done in this amount of time. The words food poisoning, okay, winding up in a hospital, and trying to figure out how you're going to get home and get new plane tickets and everything else, that is not in my vocabulary. It is, I need to get this done because I have a very limited envelope. Time is very important to me.
See, that's the difference between you and
Getting sick in a Korean...
You cook it.
We're going to be very careful. Yes. Okay.
A you cook it place.
I ain't Chef Boyardee.
Put lemon on it to save everything. Don't worry.
Luckily,
Put lemon on
lemon.
it. That's what your Dagos do all the time. Just put some lemon on it. It'll kill the smell.
Lemon. I told Will, I said, if we were here with anybody else, I'd be walking out that door. There ain't no way I'm cooking. No.
Fabrizio, he's looking at me seriously because I'm ordering, and I'm like, we'll have some beef tongue, and we'll do the prawns, and definitely, some scallops, and yes, marinated baby octopus.
Yeah.
And he's like,
no, the octopus was fine. My issue with the octopus, when I was looking at it in that bowl, and it's like
Squeeze. Alive.
Blood, guts, all that kind of stuff. And I'm looking at it, and all I'm thinking in my head is this. Okay, having gutted out a ton of animals, I like things that are somewhat clean afterwards, okay?
That was just the marinade.
And I get it. That's
that wasn't blood.
That's fine.
That was marinade.
It was
like spicy chili marinade.
They eat McDonald's too, right? Hey, they got a fecal matter in the meat, right? So.
But as I'm looking at that, I'm thinking two things. Food poisoning. That's all I'm thinking about as I'm looking at it. I'm like,
what really got him was when I threw it up on the pan.
Oh, it stands up.
It stands up, right? The little tentacles curl and shit.
You warm it up and it stands up.
Like a hat?
Yeah, the head kind of pops up and everything and inflates because of the steam coming into the head, the empty hollow cavity. And it sits up and it curls up and it's like, hello, Chris, I'm right here. And he's like,
it's enough.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
All I'm seeing stars.
I'm going to be sick. Here
I'm
we
seeing
go.
The look on his face when he's got the chopsticks and he's trying to flip.
Oh, no, there was no chopsticks. No, I told him, I said, give me a fork. I don't use chopsticks. This is America.
He's flipping the little pieces of beef tongue and he's like...
No, the beef tongue was good. I like the rib.
You cannot tell. If I didn't tell you what it was,
no, I didn't care.
You would have thought that it was a sliced beef, like a beef sandwich.
It's like menudo or whatever.
No, if you go to a Mexican restaurant, that's the best taco.
Yeah.
Tongue and tripe, and that's the one they look at you like, if you're like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. Brain, that's good stuff.
Now, the brain thing I don't really like because there's a lot of weird things that can come with that.
That's like spine and all that stuff.
Yeah, there's diseases that hide in those.
Die anyway.
Yeah, that I typically just I don't.
Well, they test for that out in Wyoming. When we went out there, they were testing our animal for it.
And they don't like eating pig's brains and stuff like that because of encephalitis and all sorts of weird stuff. And I'm probably misspeaking that, But for some reason, encephalitis is where the swelling of the brain and lesions and things like that, if I remember right. And that's what I remember.
What do they test the deer for out there, or the antelope, whatever it is?
Oh, that's blue tongue and chronic wasting disease.
See, yeah, that's what it's chronic wasting disease.
But they do that. Speaking of which, that's what's got everyone freaked out about the coronavirus.
Crazy cow?
Yeah. I think it's the same family. I get remember, we're watching this. We're still tipsy in the morning, and we're catching the news as we're getting out of the shower and getting ready to start the day, and they're talking about this on the CDC. Some guy from the CDC is like, it's just like MERS and SARS and everything else. No, it's coming from dirty bats and snakes, and we're like,
oh yeah, he's watching this. He's like, oh God, I think, and he's feeling sick already. He's like, oh God, I think
I'm on the second day of shot, and I am like, I've been hit by a train, but mine came from my daughter, and school is just a walking bag of disease. Right?
He tells me it came through O'Hare. I'm like, it's because you don't go to the white trash airport at Midway like the rest of us, Yeah, right? You go to the big international. Yeah, I need the big plane.
The only airport that takes...
I don't like slamming into houses on the end of the runway because there's a few extra bags on the plane that somebody didn't pay for,
That landing was rough.
Call me crazy. Food poisoning. Fiery death.
Give me the fiery death. It's quick. Let's go.
Oh God! So that was the baby octopus thing. That's how that was.
I'm not taking to Venice.
What?
I'm not taking to Venice. Then.
No, he can't go to.
No, I want to go. I want to go to the Russian ammunition plant. That's where I want.
I gotta add to the list. I forgot that. Oh yeah, we gotta add to the list.
Okay. All right. So what do we got here? We'll keep going with shot a little bit more because what else did we have there? There was the shrunken head, 6,000. All right, countless drinks. I mean that goes without saying.
Titty bar.
No, I didn't do that this year. That's not on the list. Like we said, we got so many parties to go to and so many people to meet. It's but
I've got children, nieces, nephews, all that, and for me to go in any kind of place like that, it's just I'm beyond that. I am no longer in my 20s.
Yeah,
I don't need that level of entertainment in my life. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Anybody wants to go, hey, great,
yeah, go have fun. Yeah,
but it's just
call for room service instead.
I would rather, no, please.
So, yeah, this episode is probably not staying as clean as we'd hoped, but nonetheless, we're doing a good job here. We're trying to keep it. We're trying to keep it on point. So what do we have? We had the year of the. We think it's the year of the AK. This is the resurgence of getting back to what I would term real gun manufacturing. And when I say that, you're taking something like what Doug Turnbull does, and he takes an 90s Marlin lever action. And
I didn't see him this year.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't see him? No. Well, I saw him on the first day. He pulled me off to the side right away. We were walking past, and of course I saw the hat, and I looked for a second just to make sure it was him because there's a lot of crazy characters out there. And he's like, "Hey, Will, how's it going?" I'm like, "Oh, fighting the good fight, brother, trying to get it open." He's like, "Oh, we're behind you. Let's get this going." And he was telling me about that new pistol that he was doing. I can't remember. He did a hybrid, and it's got like I don't want to say a Schofield hammer because that's wrong. It's I don't want to say it might be a Bisley. Or Bisley, however you pronounce that. But anyway.
He is a genuinely nice guy who his work is
phenomenal.
He's an artist. That's the only
Jim
way to
White
put it.
engraving, Doug Turnbull. There's a couple other guys, but to me, taking an AK and bringing it into the modern age, and not by just milling a lower receiver, but actually like moving the platform forward. Jim Fuller, Mark Krebs, that whole thing, right? And as you're moving along with that, you've got to do innovations. You've got to bring a standardization to the platform that doesn't exist. And to me, that's real gun manufacturing because that's what we've done all these years with 1911s. And that's where the Glock, I don't want to say that's where the Glock came from, but those years of firearms innovation, that's where Glock was spawned. Late 80s, early 90s, that's when they really got their foothold and started to move. That's when, Beretta 92, a lot of different things were just really refined.
Glock was brought in, 83, 84?
I think so.
They were first brought into the US.
But they didn't get their foothold I mean, everybody looked at them as a plastic gun that you can
yeah.
get into an airport or get into the get into the courtroom. And that was just fun horse shit. Like, come on. Like, you look at it, you're like, it's got a steel slide. How are you going to get that in? It's not a ceramic barrel. There's more metal in that gun than you can, like, what are you going to do? Take it off and try and smuggle it in? There's still metal on the bottom. It ain't working. This is BS.
I remember that was just, it was talked about as absolute garbage for a long time. And even I was like, I'd never own one, this or that. And that Glock rep got a hold of me. And
straightened you out.
Yeah, I owned quite a few after that. Yeah.
Like I said, it can be...
Gave you the Kool-Aid.
Might be a non-aesthetical thing,
That Glock 18 was very nice, let me tell you. I was very impressed with that. That was a fun little item.
I call it the center block with a trigger, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're great guns.
With a spring and a firing pin.
Yeah. If I was deployed somewhere, I would take it with me. Like, it's reliable. The gun will work all the
You and
time.
I were talking about that today when I was polishing the parts in yours.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem with it.
No, absolutely. But is it, there are better guns? Maybe. They're nicer looking guns? Maybe.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Depends what you're looking for.
It's like in the motorcycle or dirt bike world. You're like, oh, I'll take a YZ 125. I don't even think they make a YZ anymore, two-stroke, whatever. But in the back in the days, it was a YZ 125 or an RM 125. That was it. That's all. That was that. You said Husqvarna, and everyone went like, oh, you're one of those. So it has its place. But I think this is the year of the AK where everything is now starting to get a foothold. And walk me through some of the stuff that you saw.
Well, in the we're gonna go from. I think we start probably from the low. Let's call it level entry AKs, and
Entry level.
Entry level. Sorry, entry level.
All right. So what did the entry level AK market?
Well, the Palmetto got a couple of new things. The most interesting thing to me was the Type 56 kind of AK. You know what I mean? The Chinese one with the spike bayonet.
Oh,
but now they're 3Ks. Now with that one's going to be a 799. I was really intrigued by that.
Oh man, I remember when AKs were $200. $200, and you got a really nice AK.
Well, unless Mr. Trump is going to, remove the ban. For now, that's the only.
That's not coming
to happen.
I paid
But
$300 for my Norinco.
But anyway,
and everyone, like, oh, Norinco, that's crap. That's commie gun
garbage.
crap and garbage.
Get a Russian gun.
Now, if you say, hey, I've got a Norinco AK from the 80s, and people go like, I'll pay you $4,000 for it. You're like,
I think the latest I saw, I was actually about to buy one, was an NH90. I think was like $900. The guy was already it's the one they imported before the ban, and they put the thumb stock, lag. You know what I mean? But anyway, and they have MP5 apparently, a Palmetto. MP5 clone. And they didn't say when they're going to release it. Palmetto can be 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. So
they can keep that platform.
Yeah, I know.
That was great all the way up until, 95.
Yeah, 95, 96, 98. It's like done, over with.
HK lost any favor with me after, the ban. They didn't want to import anything. They're very...
They're weird.
They're
weird.
They
are
want
true
their military
Germans.
market, and I get it. Take the military market. Take the government market. There's no money in it, but God bless you if that's what you want.
But look
at
at
it.
That's what Colt did.
Well, you see how that worked out for him.
Yeah, you see how that worked out.
Desert, the boot was desert.
Right? Big deal. But they missed on so much of just their fanboy status that it's like they kept it away too long. Like when they pulled out the SP89, everyone jumped on that thing.
Right.
They jumped on it and they went, oh, we're on something special here. Let's stop production. Oh, no. We stop production now. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing that won't sell the MP7, I think it is for the civilian market.
Who cares?
You know what I mean? But it's still a point, if
Look,
I think it's the legitimacy that H&K shows their buyers, the government buyers, that, hey, look, we're really not 2A. We don't really support the Second Amendment. We support you. And that's why you want to buy our guns and not someone else. I think that could be it, but I don't
know about that.
H&K was great up until Al Gore created the internet. Okay, let's just leave it out there. Because the internet has changed so much of this industry.
I mean, just memes.
That's right.
Just memes.
No, I mean, I don't want to digress from the AK. I have a VP9. I love the freaking gun.
It's a nice gun. I'm not, there's nothing. I'm talking about their management,
the policy. Absolutely. But then you got to talk about
this is going to warp your mind. A while back, they actually produced a catalog where the rounds went to print. This went to print. All right, so nobody in the chain of command figured this out until it was done in a box, getting ready to be shipped to dealers and military. Somebody in the office picked it up, opened up the catalog and noticed that the magazine that was getting loaded in the whatchamacallit, I think it was an MP5 or whatever, who cares? The rounds were backwards in the magazine. The rounds were backwards. And it went to print.
You can, yeah.
It went to print. Does that tell you who H&K is?
Yeah.
They don't have their eye on the ball. So that being said, yeah, the Palmetto MP5, that's great for, I don't want to say,
low end.
For the low end. But you know what? There's a lot of guys that still want that gun. And it's cool. I mean, you got to have one in your collection. If you're a collector, you got to have one.
Die hard.
But there's so many new platforms out there right now. If you're going PCC,
Absolutely.
9mm PCC.
Oh, yeah. That's another thing. Last year was 9mm ARs. Yeah, that was the leather.
That was the. I don't want to say woo, but come on, they've been around for a while, and now all of a sudden with PCC and
competitions and stuff.
Yeah, so I don't want to.
Colt had that 9mm AR forever.
For how long?
And
Uzi
people
stick
pick-
mags?
Yeah, people. No, those
their
were
own
Uzi mags.
magazine.
Were
Their
they?
own magazine.
I thought they were proprietary.
Yeah, I
mags
think
for
they
that.
were their own magazine.
Well, they might have been here. I saw some with Uzi mags, and they didn't have the drop problem, where the proprietary Colt mags, or whoever was making it, All-Star or 4-Star, or whoever was making those mags, you would drop a mag on the ground, and all the rounds would come right up out of the magazine. It was just
fun.
like what the? No, I'm not putting that.
That's
in
cute. Come on, that's fun. Everybody
that's
loves
perfect. And you know what? Outside of a meth lab, there's no reason to have a 9mm subgun. In my eyes, there's no reason for it. I mean, remember, police departments are not anti-terrorist units.
that. No, in the 80s, everybody wanted them. I don't know. Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, all that movies, right? All that stuff.
And if Bruce had to really hole around a real MP5 with no shoes on,
Come on.
he'd be using it as something else. All right, we got to go here.
Not a
Come on.
problem.
What's going on?
Then they had that Glock, I think, thing, a Palmetto, low-end Glock. I tried. Seems like decent gun for $300, whatever it is.
Okay.
So again, they got to understand. Let's put it this way. And every time I ask him about Palmetto, Palmetto don't care about what people think.
No, they do. It's going to move.
They have the 50% of the AK market in the United States.
Yeah.
They're selling more AKs than Century Arms, believe it or not.
Well, I
and
can
okay,
believe that. 3,800-pound gorilla in the room when it comes to AK.
If you go,
Century.
If you go to range once, let's say six times a year, let's say something like that. You don't care if your AK is a $2,000 crap custom. You know what I mean? You're fine with the average. I'm talking about average people.
Yeah.
Like if you're like somebody passionate as me or somebody else about AK, you would buy a. You're like,
it's not your
I'll pass on that.
It's not your primary platform. It's not what you're doing. It's fun. It's cool. I got one in my collection, and that's fine. Yeah. And if that's what you can afford, is an $800 AK. Oh, too bad we're not still back in the $200 AK days, but.
When you get a free case of ammo with it.
Yeah, right. And a bayonet.
And a cleaning
kit. Yeah. And the Chinese
Oil bottle,
manual.
The oiler.
Remember what I told you last time? Buy a $200 gun, shot the bad guy, grab his gun. Now you got
a $500 gun.
See? Anyway, and then they got. I'm gonna quickly. Century Arm got a compact Canic, really nice gun. Love a Canic. For what you paying, it's actually a really good gun.
Yeah, a lot of guys are running that in 3-gun and stuff, and they're having good success with it.
The Janik.
The Canic.
Chanook,
Is it the Canuck?
whatever, Canuck. Canook.
I've heard called Janik.
Canuck.
I don't
Ganook.
At this point, I really don't care.
Whatever.
I'm 3/4 of the way through a bottle of Lemba.
It's a good gun. And then they have apparently an AK-74, which was like mind-blowing. I don't know, actually, the gun's going to blow too, but we don't know yet.
Blow up.
Then we have a couple of small things that I saw around. So Arsenal, at the Arsenal booth, they have the AK-20. Which is an interesting AK-762 by 39, of course. The rear part of the AK is a traditional AK. The front has become more like an AR. So they got adjustable gas blocks.
Oh,
you can put a suppressor on it.
That's getting more to the standardization market.
Correct.
I bet you that is going to take over in the aftermarket sector as being the platform that everyone wants to build off of.
Yeah, because you got a apparently accurate too.
You don't have to be a wizard either.
No, it's already tuned up. You can. It's an amazing thing in one setup of the gas setup. The gun, when the block of the AK, you charge the AK, the sound tunk wasn't even doing that. So it's actually very silent, if you will, for an AK. There's some mechanical stuff.
Well, there's really nothing in the AK that that bolt is riding basically in the free.
They changed that too
on a rod in the back. I mean, it's just kind of slamming into position. And once it gets close to the bolt, it locks into place and plunk.
But when
That's
they set up, you couldn't even, was like minimal compared to an average AK.
Nice.
I don't know what they did.
Nice.
You know, they don't want to tell you probably, but and they have of course all their series of AKs. You know,
What company was that again?
Arsenal.
I missed them. I missed the meeting that you had set up with. I don't want to say set up with, but the Russian guys that you had said that we should talk to, and that I missed that completely because we just ran
Roman
out
and
of time.
Yancey.
Yancey.
I mean,
Yancey, love you. But
we
anyway.
met them at the RD party. That was fun, but I wanted to circle back around with them. But
Yeah,
that-
very interesting.
yeah. I think we should just go to Russia.
Yeah, they got PCC.
Can't be that expensive, can it?
Let's go. Let's go. I don't care. Credit
Who else
cards,
wants to go? If
charge,
anybody
let's
is listening to this podcast right now and you want to go to Russia with me and kick Larry Vickers in the shin while you're there, let's go to
He doesn't
Russia.
have one
Let's,
anymore.
let's go to Russia and let's go see the ammunition plant.
But
Let's-
now?
yeah,
Well, yeah, they're
let's
nice.
go see this stuff. Let's
Where,
go meet
where
these
are they
guys.
at in Russia?
You're welcome to come with everybody.
I think it's a 3 hour fly from Moscow.
That does me no good.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, okay, all right. I'm pulling up. I'm
Google
pulling up
it.
flights.
But anyway,
Right now.
they-
Expedia.
We have a
Here we
meeting.
go.
They're very looking for media people to promote their product, and I think they got good stuff. I love their AK ammo. They have a new line of PCC. What do you call it? PP, the competition stuff. They call it PCC.
What, the pistol caliber?
Yeah,
Yeah, PCC.
yeah. They got all a new line of low recoil ammo. You know, for competition. They got 9, 7.62,
Low
5.56.
recoil ammo, 9mm.
Yeah, less. You
Yeah,
know,
the low recoil.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Easy to go back on target and
Right.
shit like that. Because most of sorry,
Where are we going? Helsinki?
no, Barnaul, Barnaul,
No,
Barnaul.
we gotta fly into an airport. You know, where are we
Moscow,
going?
and then from
Moscow?
Moscow you go to Barnaul with another
Oh,
fly.
Yeah,
According,
we fly to another airport, then take a helicopter for 3 hours, then we take a tank through a forest.
and then you go with the Cossacks.
And then you on the horses. Yeah.
A friend of mine went out there.
Being
and did
chased by Afghans in the northern regions.
A friend of mine went out to there to do a bear hunt. He actually took number 3 on the SCI list when he took his bear, and
Really?
yeah, he had to go the long way around. He was supposed to airline out of Alaska across over into Russia. The airline in Alaska went out of business 30 days before his flight, so he had to go all the way from Chicago around the world to go.
Whoa. That's got to, if I'm not on a big plane where I can stand up in the aisle for like 4 or 5 hours, that's going to be tough.
I think it's the fly is Chicago to Moscow and then Moscow to Barnaul.
All right, we're not doing this. We're not doing this on the cheap, right? If we're going to go to Moscow, we've got to get some gold chains, some fur coats,
Some of them
Adidas
tracksuits,
tracksuit,
yes.
Adidas tracksuit.
Yes, definitely
Adidas
the
tracksuit, a big furry coat, some chains,
Semchki.
some wicked big like EK glasses,
Gucci
from like
glasses.
right, exact Gucci glasses.
Semchki and vodka.
Oh yeah, here we go. Oh, it's asking me to verify my citizenship.
And you gotta say
When do we want to go? April? April's a nice
April.
time. Springtime in Moscow.
Well,
I
you gotta
sounds
think when
We'll
the
go for
Russian
spring break. It'll be nice.
when the
Oh,
German got
perfect.
stuck. September, October, when they got stuck
Well,
in the mud.
yeah.
November, yeah. So
Yeah,
you
I
go
know.
before
Yeah.
that. Go
All right,
before
so
that.
we're going to go over a weekend. All right. I know we're deviating here from our deal, but let's just have some fun for a moment, like we're not already. All right. So what else we got here? So in your list, what do you got? You just got the Century.
So I went to the people I love to meet and really nice people to me. In general, whenever anybody was asking question, was the guys at Meridian Defense. We
Yeah.
spoke about them last time. You met them too, I think.
Yeah, I met him at the RD party. I think I gave him a little bit of a hard time, and he was like looking at me like weird because I just love pushing people's buttons the moment I meet him. And the girl he was with was like, "What do you mean you're in Indiana? I live right down the street." I'm like, "You mean I came halfway across?"
That
the
might be.
United States?"
That was Kalashnikov USA.
Oh, is it Kalashnikov? Oh,
That's
yeah,
the other
yeah,
people.
yeah.
Really, really good. Anyway, Meridian Defense, they got their own line of
That's who
rifles.
that guy was? He was what?
Tom. Is this
Tom,
from Tom?
yeah,
was
Tom.
with
What company was it?
Kalashnikov USA.
Yeah. I just want an airfare. Why can't I just give me my airfare?
Anyway, Meridian, they don't have a booth, but they have a couple
Whoa.
of weapons.
Oh, you guys got to see this. Oh, we're staying in this hotel right here.
Come with Svetlana or not?
Well, I don't know, but for 4 days, we're spending $4,000 in just hotel.
Suka biljat.
Yeah, we're gonna go like Cossack oil barons.
Naked on the horse.
Yeah, let's do
We're
that.
Americans. They gotta let us in.
We can pull a whatchamacallit, a Vladimir. We could get pictures of us riding horseback bear.
With the Trump head.
MAGA hats. Let's do it. Riding through downtown Moscow on horses with our hairy backs and be like, MAGA. This is derailed completely. I'm so sorry. Everyone. This
No
is
problem.
so Meridian Defense.
Oh, yeah,
they had their guns over at
SLR, and the trigger people, C and
CMG.
GG, and they got one Century too, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And I like the way they build their guns.
I like their Apocalypse guns. Very nice.
Yeah, that's the most impressive at the city, because you don't give a lot when you look at it. It's like, it's a Romanian AK.
It looks like it's built like crap. It's from an old days, and somebody had, they found some surplus with a number spray painted on the stock. But I got to tell you, I love that gun. That gun is that's going to find its way into my collection. I have to have one.
You got to talk with Paul.
I'm going to build one myself, but I'm going to start with a regular one and do my own paint job on it. But he does a phenomenal paint. Whoever's doing his paint, who's ever doing the battleware, is just top notch.
Oh yeah,
it's just it's really cool to see that.
And they start making their own part too. That goes back to what you're talking about: adjustable gas block, muzzle brake. So everybody now, they start as builder, and then now everybody's making their own line of product, which is cool.
Did you see Brandon, the guy with the hair?
I miss a bunch of big people. No, never mind. I was gonna say something. No, I'm gonna skip
Gentlemen,
that.
I think we're gonna get a visit from the State Department here soon.
I've been avoided by a bunch of friends.
I'm trying to book us a room at the St. Regis Moscow.
Where?
In Moscow, Russia.
No, we got to go 3 hours outside of Moscow.
No, we're gonna stay
we'll
here.
just
We're
rent
gonna
a car.
Yeah.
We'll just steal a car.
Yeah, we'll steal
or something.
A Lada.
Yeah, Lada. Oh man, those things run like hell.
Oh, the
I
van.
love it.
Did you see the van they got for
Oh yeah.
sale?
What's?
Did I send you the picture of the van?
Yeah. What's? Whatever.
Yeah, the What's. All right.
But anyway, then
So the Meridian Defense, that was a really nice AK. SLR is building the handguards for it. I guess there's a variance. So when you buy a Meridian, you can always upgrade to an SLR handguard.
Correct.
From what I understand from those guys,
Yes.
Because he's using one type of gun. So when you want a handguard for Meridian, all you have to say, I want that handguard for Meridian, and SLR does the work.
Yes,
and
correct.
that's it, done.
Because they're pretty much they use different receiver, by the way. They use a regular millet, and then they got some sharp one. You remember that there was one of the CM whatever the company makes trigger. There was two of them with a sharp receiver, which I think is beautiful. I mean,
have you seen flat triggers on any of those AKs?
Kind of is the one angle like an L shape.
Yeah, I don't like the L shape. I think that's a cheap hustle to me.
They make one for the air. I don't see why they shouldn't. Next step,
we could always heat one up and bend it.
Yeah.
And
file it,
send it back through heat treat.
And the other stuff I saw was briefly. Fab Defense. They got a few little things that actually was impressed. They got a stock. What's the sniper stock? The Magpul one.
What do you mean the
one adjustable?
Oh yeah, the Pro stock or something. Oh god.
Anyway, they have their own version that costs way less than that, and is actually as nicer than that one.
Yeah.
They got a couple of pistol grip, rubberized.
From Fab.
Yep. They got some nice magazine for AR and AK. They got a bunch of cool product. I think they step up with the game since they move over here. Most of their stuff actually. You know what I mean? And again, they're still battle tested because they got behind them.
It's the folding. It's the folding one, right?
No, the big ass sniper stock.
Okay. It's Zahal, right?
No, Fab Defense.
No, Fab Defense.
Anyhow, so they released that stuff. So I think they're more thinking toward the American market now. Before it was mostly
theirs is called a RAPS. Rapid Adjustable Precision Stock.
That's the one.
Yeah, that was nice. I like that. That was pretty cool. Easy to adjust, but once you get it adjusted, you're never going to move it again. So it's kind of like, but still. They got some nice hardware. It is on the budget side. So all of the stuff at Fab
good stuff.
is good stuff. Yeah, it's you're going to be like, you're going to look at the price tag and be like, that shit's not going to last. But it does.
No, it's combat proven.
Nice.
It's all stuff they normally give it to the Israeli army before to test. And most of this stuff has been done and actually it's been used in contract overseas.
Right.
I have a rumor, but I'm going to pass on that. The only last thing I want to add, there's a lot of other guns, AR and Glocks. I was done by the second day. We went to the Rifle Dynamics party. Jim wasn't there. Apparently, good luck with him to the new business. No, it's public.
Yeah.
It's public.
I know.
So it's nothing to,
I saw Casey at what booth was it? With all the AKs. They had all their AKs, all the RD guns there.
Silencer, maybe? Suppressor people?
No.
Maybe? No.
But we saw her and the AKs that they're building are.
Oh, they're nice.
Oh, there was
very
that.
Nice.
There was the what was that? I was at 3/4 of a bottle of Buffalo Trace in me at that point. What the hell was that? Was it an MG42?
They might have one.
No, at Rifle Dynamics. What was
No,
it?
they have a PKM.
Oh,
the
PKM.
Yeah,
PKM.
2 of them, yeah.
No, not the PK.
Oh, the MP40.
No, the MP44. It's just
MP44.
Sturmgewehr.
Yeah, Sturmgewehr.
Yeah.
For the if you've never seen one in person, it's like
It was a unicorn.
it was. It's an absolute unicorn,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just. I'm trying to get to it right now. Here, let's see. Oh no, this is. They're not going to have it. I thought they had it on their thing. I could have swore they had it on their website, being like sold out.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's only one of these in the world, and it is. There's only one of those in the world, basically, that I know of. I've never seen one other than a museum, and this was beautiful. I mean, just seeing it, and that's what started everything in World War II was this gun. Like this was the original deviation into
Assault rifle.
yeah,
They have the name.
assault
Sturmgewehr, that's what they call
right?
it.
Yeah,
It's the German name.
Yeah, Sturmgewehr, right? But it was just amazing. It was just stamped. Once again, going back to that AK platform and everything else, H&K has always used stamped receivers as well. But it was just amazing to hold it. It was a tank. Oh, that thing was overbuilt like crazy, but so fun to hold.
But yeah, you got to think about before that they had like long rifle cartridge like the Mauser, and then they have like MP40. There was nothing in the middle.
There was nothing in the middle. All they had was their 9mm, and that was that. Right?
Yeah, and a big thank you to Casey. She did host one heck of a party.
Oh yeah,
She
we had
did.
some
It
good
was
times.
great. Yeah,
Good
we had a
times.
good time as always at that party.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
time. We met a bunch of. I like going there because you meet. I think it's the best place for meet people in the AK business. I think, at least to me, because there's
Yeah,
a bunch.
that
of,
is the AK party. Every year.
Yeah. But you know what? It was very quiet this year. Yeah, I know. But still, it was like...
I felt, you know, to be honest, you know, I don't want to digress. I felt a little weird when I walk in, you know what I mean? I felt something was different, you know what I mean? The way that everything was organized too, you know? Because the year before, you were in a machine shop, a little messy and everything. This year looks like a...
Well, it's all been sterilized, which it should be. I mean,
I understand.
They want to be professional, and
I understand
they
that.
want their industry share, which they're getting.
Oh, yeah, they will.
They have really... I was impressed with the quality of their product that I've seen.
You seen they started using the Sharp Brothers 2 receiver too, by the way, and they got low end rifles, but they understand the market, you know. And they're gonna start selling to shops too, by the way. Apparently, that's what I heard.
Oh, yeah?
I'd like to take a build class. I would like to see Krebs offer a build class, but I don't think that's in the works. So maybe we're gonna have to go out to Vegas and do a build class out there.
I'm going to beat Mark Krebs one of these days. I just really can't understand why he just won't... Yeah, go
Bring
ahead.
us in. I want to build a gun.
Okay, Will, do what you want. I'm going to sit here at my bench and keep building guns. Thanks, Mark. I'll talk to you soon. I'll bring you a big fat bag of cash. Don't worry, buddy.
No.
It's not going to cost you a dime.
Yeah.
And it just...
I wanna wish a good luck to Jim anyway. So I know
Yes.
he's going in a good direction. He's gonna do what he likes to do, and he's gonna do what he's been doing plus new stuff.
And I'm sure that the guy that he's partnering up with is going to bring him good fortune.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about it because it's just I don't know what's public and what's not yet.
No, they put on YouTube a video with Gun and Thumb, and they clarified.
Yeah, but they didn't come out right out and say...
They said the name of the guy and what they're gonna do roughly.
Well, no, they didn't use his name.
Yes, they didn't mention
No,
somebody.
they just went, oh, common friend. Looking at the stupid bug logo. For those of you that know what that is, yeah, that's it.
That's the guy.
Yeah. So, anything else on the
No,
AKL?
I mean it's I want to close the thing about Shot Show. I mean it's a good thing to go.
Damn, we're at 58 minutes already.
Yeah, but most of the time, the thing I'm looking at is actually not what is supposed or actually what's behind, you know. Sometimes the cool company and not the one have actually a booth most of the time.
Yeah. So there's a couple things that I saw. Do you want to cover a couple of things that you saw that were really cool?
The alien gun.
Oh, the Lago. That was really kind of cool. Heavy. It's not a light gun.
We had a mutual friend of ours that was like, "Go and take a look at this alien gun," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
We've seen the
okay.
hype from it with this. That, and the other, but
I didn't know anything about it. I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll go find it. So we went to the Lancer booth.
Lancer's the
checked it out.
distributor for it. And
Yeah.
They're already sold like 5,000 of these things in 2 days.
Well, no,
3 days.
no, they're only doing 500.
No,
They're importing 500 into the U.S.
well, that was 5,000.
Was it 5,000? All right. Well, I know the cost was $5,000.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, the cost
Yeah,
is
yeah,
$5,000.
yeah, yeah. You're
They're
right.
bringing $500 into the U.S.
$5,000 for this thing.
Is that what made it?
Yeah, $4,900
Czech
or something.
Republic or something like that?
Yeah, it's Czech. Czechs make beautiful
yeah.
guns. Yeah, in defense, though, I gotta say, when you tear apart a CZ handgun, you don't ever know what you do. You don't ever know what you're gonna get. The insides are all different, and it's like 25 people took the gun, engineered it themselves for their own little discipline,
okay.
like trigger bar mechanism, and then it went over to the sear guy, and then the sear guy gave it to the mainspring dude, and then the mainspring dude said, "Yeah, we'll hand it over to that hot chick over there, and she'll put some grips on it," and then it's just like, what? There's no rhyme or reason. It's completely over-engineered, which is fine. I mean, a lot of older
Great
style
guns,
gun engineers are that way. The inside of a Beretta is comical at best, but you don't know which one you're going to get. Like there's the 75 through this one and through that one. It's like, what? I don't understand why you would do and
50 different magazines for the
to
gun.
take them and Cerakote them properly, right? You have to take all the guts out. And if you work on nothing but CZs, it's easy because there's carryovers. 30% or 50% of it carries over to the next platform. For somebody like myself who's tearing apart a CZ 1 minute, a Glock the next, an AR-15 and, an M1 Grand and a Mini 14, I go all over the gamut, right? To a shotgun, to an 1100, Remington 1100, all sorts of stuff. It's hard for me to keep up, right? But I got to say, they engineer one hell of a gun. And that Alien is no different.
That is
If
very
you
nice.
look at the mechanism behind it, it's directly, in my eyes, in my opinion, it's taken right off that Ruger Buckmark, where the slide moves and nothing else on the gun moves.
Oh, wow.
You take the whole...
The barrel doesn't move, nothing.
tell them about the sights.
I only looked at the one with the red dot, so
Okay. The whole top of the slide is
So
milled
the
so you
gun-
can take it off and put on different
Yeah.
sights, different optic, whatever. It's all...
but it doesn't move. Like there's, like a front sight on a normal reciprocating or semi-automatic firearm pistol, and slide is moving and your front sight is moving, right? And you have to reacquire that sight. This is not. This is a top rail. It doesn't move. End of story. Inside that is the moving slide. So you're able to keep a better sight picture. Plus, they're able to get, a 30% lower height over bore. So now your hand is higher than the action in theory, right? So the higher your hand is on the action, the less recoil or the more recoil you can manage, whichever way you want to look at that. And you're allowed something really great, and that's to keep your eyes on a less moving target, meaning your sights. So you can acquire those things instantaneously. They don't move as much from number one, the recoil, and number two, because they're not reciprocating with the firearm. It's really great.
So,
I think that's going to be the next pistol that you're going to see in like all the competitions. That's the one that's going to start racing out.
it was... The total for the pistol's $5,000. $2,500 down, $2,500 when they get them imported, I guess. So we went and took a look at it. Call up our friend. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, done. Bought
Done.
one.
He bought one. We've
I
got another
literally-
friend that bought one. We've got two friends
Two.
that have them
I
coming.
literally sent the text message to him. 30 seconds later, he came back. All right, done.
Yeah.
I wish
It's
I
like
could do the same.
it's like he was waiting by the phone.
Yeah,
in the
he
computer.
goes, see if they got a discount code. I go, there's no discount codes. He's like, I don't care, I'm buying it. I'm, okay. So,
But he's like that. He buys every single new platform gun
Oh,
very fast.
wish I could do the same, but
Yeah, well,
we'll take this one
I just
out.
don't-
When it
I-
comes in,
we'll take it out.
We'll go out and we'll
Don't
do
worry.
some shooting with it, yeah.
So you saw that one. Anything else?
No, there was a lot of meetings with a lot of people. There wasn't a whole lot of playtime looking at different stuff. You know,
All right,
I
so this
saw
is-
the black water gun. I like that.
That was fun. That was really interesting, innovative, new. I'll probably get one for the ranch just to have one so that you can.
I like the shotgun more than I like the thumb
Yeah,
rifle. I
I
did
can
like
see
the
that.
shotgun.
I'd love to just, like somebody breaks into the house and you scream and drop your gun and the guy picks up your AR and goes to point it at you and figures out there's no trigger on the gun. I was like, what's this? Ha ha! You stab him. But nonetheless, I saw something really cool. And there's been a lot of talk about it, but it's never been digested as well as I think it was at the show. And that was that SIG MG 338.
Oh yeah.
I mean, SIG has broken new ground in, I think, even in their own history. This is really cool. So if you don't know what the MG338 is, it's the new machine gun, belt-fed, air-cooled, gas-operated, suppressed, unsuppressed, semi and full auto belt-fed machine gun. That's the new contender for.
Is that the plastic ammunition?
No.
Okay.
It will if they ever do that. But SIG's going the opposite way. So I'll get to the ammunition in a second. But I think this year's mover and shaker was SIG, flat out. And I'm not, SIG 220, 226, 228, 229, great guns.
I have a few.
Right. We all have a bunch of those things. The SIG 320, great gun. I think it's got a fat ass. So when they got away from that and they started going into the X class and they started to trim that out a little bit, then it started to pop in my mind as, ooh, that's really cool because they got the trigger mechanism to be the serialized part. That's great because you can change the platform around to where it seats you. What I really like is where they're going with their machine gun and where they're going with their ammunition. So the MG338 is a 338 Norma. So if you guys don't know what a Norma is, I don't want to say it's a Wildcat cartridge, but it's definitely a high precision. It started life as a specialty round that was made by gunsmiths. Right, you had to be a reloader. They're chambering that thing in 7.62, 338, and I thought they were going to... No, that's the other one. That's the MG 6.8. All right, so it's going to be offered in both series, right? But it's going to replace the M240 saw. That's the big the 7.62 belt-fed machine gun, right? So it recoils less. But now we're talking about increasing the effective range of an assault platform, of a military platform, let's say, from 800 yards. They're kind of interchangeable at that, whatever, to 1,500.
Wow.
And you're still anti-material at 1,500.
Wow.
That's impressive. All right. Now you can really start to use the Norma cartridge because of their new ammunition. Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw the boot.
Did you see the actual casing?
Yeah, I think so.
Did you wonder why it was two different colors?
No.
No? All right, so I'll get to that in a second because that blew my mind.
I
heard that they were
too busy anyway.
Yeah. I heard they were playing with it. So this thing is side foldable stock, semi and safe, but when you click it off safe, it goes right to fully automatic. Then you have to seriously, instead of go all the way around for fully automatic. This one is a machine gun, of course, so it's meant for a different use. Flip the switch, go to safety to full. Then you go all the way around, you get the semi. So that way, in case you want to switch out and be a little more precise at longer ranges, you can get tung, 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 instead of having that increased, rate of fire. They've got the belt feed mechanism flips over to the side to load the belt in, and it's ambidextrous. So you can do a left feed or a right feed. So if you're in an automobile, let's say a Humvee or an MRAP or whatever, and that gun's on the helicopter, and you're on the right side, that box has got to be hanging on the right side. In my mind, it makes the gun ambidextrous almost. Full ambi controls, the whole 9 yards. Side feed tray, but what's really cool is that while it's side feed, you are not mounting your thermals in front of or on the feed, the feed cover. So now you can really do a lot of cool things where you can have your optic in the back, your thermal in the front, and the belt feed mechanism, the cover, is switching over to the side in between. That's also cool because a lot of those hot gases and that hotness is not sitting in front of the thermal where you would traditionally have to mount your optic behind that in order to get that, right? So then all of a sudden your thermal's flared out. You're like, everything's all white because of the heat coming off of the receiver. So now the thermal's in front of that. It's really cool. Slides forward, slides over to the side, barrel comes up 90 degrees, slides right out, boom, headspace checked, bang, slap in a new barrel, slap the cover back over, lock it into place, and it's done. We have switched out a barrel on something that's carrying, a whatchamacallit. Plus, the damn thing only weighs 12 pounds.
Compared to...
Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry. I'm reading my notes all crazy. It's only 21 pounds.
Well, compared to...
Compared to, I think it's like 28 on a stripped out.
Yeah, it's a lot of ammo 30 extra you can carry.
What was the weight on that FN that we held?
Oh, dude, this thing is way lighter than that.
Really?
Way lighter than the 16-inch or 14-inch titanium FN 240. Oh yeah, baby. This thing is crazy. Like we left FN and I ran over to SIG because I really wanted to see what SIG was out doing, like taking the next step with. And because we're kind of doing those talks with SIG right now, I want to have a complete understanding of where they're going, right? So then you got the 6.8 or the MG 6.8. That's only 12 pounds. 12 pounds. That's a full auto machine gun, belt fed, and that one's not being chambered for no 5.56 anymore. They're pushing that one right to that, right to 6.8.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Sound even better.
Woo! Now check this out. Even under full kit, suppressor, full optics, and everything like that, it's still underweight for a full kit 240, for a standard 249 saw with no optics on it.
Wow.
Yeah, baby. And it's still ambidextrous. You top feed, slide over, slide left, right, side folding.
What's cost
gas operated? Don't worry about it. It's just a few Cougar amps. Don't worry about it. Same
Will they
features
be
as
importing
the.
that for everybody?
Believe it or not, they're making a semi-automatic version of that for us. Not for the ranch, but for plebes.
One kidney.
Yeah, one kidney.
2 kidney.
Wonder what ammo's going to... What's
A
ammo
kidney
cost
and
for
a
that?
few quarts of plasma.
Give me a quote of that. 338 normal.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Ammo?
Yeah.
That's what,
Belted-
$3-4 a round?
10,000 rounds of belted 338 Norma. Yeah, no worries.
Tell you what, I'm going to need...
But remember, SIG's making their own ammo, and I'm going to get to that in a second, right? So then you've got the MCX Spear, which is the AR-10, right? So that's a 6x8 by 51. Now, for those of you that don't know what a 6x8 or 6.8 is, it's a 277. All right, so a 270 Winchester, same thing. Just a little different. So 277 Fury is what SIG is doing. It's the same it's the same round. So unlike 5.56 and 223, from what the SIG guy tells me is that don't worry about it. It's the same round. It's just being called something different because the military wants theirs and you can get theirs. You can get yours. Just like 5.56 and 223 when that started. But there was a similar design trait change off. There's not on this. So that's what SIG's saying because they're developing the cartridges to go with it, right? So it's 7.62, 6.5 Creedmoor, and 6.8. So you can get it in all three calibers. And that's the new AR-10. So when I say an AR-10, that's what everyone's going to think of it as. But it's an MCX. It's SIG's new platform. So it's got a lot of the carryovers from the 338 Norma and the new 6.8, the MG 6.8. Now, their steel ammunition. Their ammunition is a hybrid. It's a brass casing swedged in with a polymer ring or whatever. I kind of phased out at that point while he was talking. And it's put in a steel cup. So the back, let's say, back eighth of the round, the casing is steel. That way they can increase the pressure and not blow out the back of the back of the brass because of manufacturing. It causes when you press a round, the casing, it becomes a stress point right in that back corner where it transfers down into the lip where the extractor rides, right? And that's why you can only have pressures exceeding whatever. Now with that new SIG 6.8 or the 277 Fury, now that thing is able to go up like way past 30,000 pounds.
Wow.
It's just insane. The guy's like, oh, we can go past 90. And I'm like, 90,000 pounds? And he's like, oh, no problem. Yeah, without critical failure. And that's what the guns are built for. I'm like, what? So there's a lot going on with that. And that leads me to all right, everyone's got to go get one of these. Place your order. Send it to me. We're all getting SIG crosses. That bolt gun is freaking sweet. 16-inch barrel, twist, and ammunition. Balanced, modified, balanced, and calculated for that 16-inch barrel. So that 277 was created for a 16-inch bolt gun. 16-inch barrel bolt gun.
Cost?
Just a couple $1,000. I think it's $1,500. You were there with me.
No,
I phased out on the price. I was too busy licking the drool off my
Fingering the
lips
gun.
and yeah. Totally. All right, so the rundown on that guy is it's a bolt gun. It was designed from the ground up to be its own platform. Very accurate because of how it's being built. 6.5 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, 6.5 pounds. 6.5, 308, and 277 Fury. It's got a taper lock front end, so you can put whatever suppressor you want on it. 16-inch barrel, M-lock receiver on the 1. On the 12, I guess you call it 12, 1, 3, 4, 6, positions. Folding stock, which is reversible. So on the right side fold, which was where you would normally have it, it locks the bolt down in place so the bolt cannot open. If you put it to the other side so you can fire the rifle, while the stock is collapsed, that's fine as well. Field serviceable with your hands, but just your fingers to service the bolt.
Oh, wow.
Unlike a Remington 700 where you need springs and catches and all sorts of stuff. Let's see what else here. Button stainless steel barrels with barrel nut, adjustable barrel nut for head spacing. That's really cool. 25-inch folded overall length. 60-degree throw with a bent lever, so there's no more banging your knuckles into the scope rings. That's really cool. You got the adjustable, spring-loaded adjustable comb on the stock. So you flip the lever, you put your head on the gun, you adjust your head to where you sight up, through your optic, reach over, throw the lever down, locked, done. The thing is great. I mean, it's awesome. It's super lightweight, super small. I think it's going to be the next long-range hunting rifle, extended range hunting rifle. I don't mean long range like 2,000 yards. I mean, you start packing your stuff out.
Oh, wow.
You're looking for water, you're packing everything, your ultralight kit.
It's good for the range, see?
Yeah, exactly. Good for the ranch. I'm dying. I'm like, I want to get my fingers on that so bad. Nothing better than a bolt gun. I think it's using Magpul mags.
Oh, cool.
Air furniture, so the grip is a standard air grip.
Okay.
Pretty simple. We saw a couple other things. You showed me that Strike Industries pistol chassis. That was really cool. That's not ready yet, but they're going to come out with that pretty soon.
Yeah, the ATF has to love those guys.
Oh, right.
They got to send a box to the ATF to get approved. And, there's just like, whoever gets that box, it's like they lost the bet, Oh, what is this? Oh, no. Oh.
So we were there talking to the guys at Gerber, guys and girls at Gerber. They got a bunch of new tools. I can't even list them all. We're already at an hour and 16, 15 minutes, something like that. They got a ton of new tools. They're going to be working with us. Core Performance came out with an ice plate. So it's an additional plate that goes in your plate carrier. And it carries 1.5 liters of water, frozen. And it's got a tube coming off it, so you can actually use it, and they're stackable. So the CDC says that 3 liters of water, frozen water, whatever that equates to, will work for 2 hours of protection against heat stroke.
Wow.
Plus, as it's melting, you get to drink it. So you don't have to carry a Camelback. I thought that was pretty cool. There's the new binary target. What was that thing called? Do you remember? I think Greg saw it from Hackett. And he showed it to me. All right, so I'm going to pull that. Pelican cases. There's the wallpaper from the Golden Tiki.
We're going to order that.
We're ordering wallpaper.
Chris is ordering some.
Oh, yes. So where is that? So, all right, so Pelican cases have got a new... Found it. Pelican cases have got a new overland or rig style setup, which was pretty cool. They were debuting there. They're mounts for vehicles, so in the back of our UTVs, Chris, when we were looking at some of that other stuff. That way we can put catch-all boxes back there, two latches, and they pop off, and we can pull them out in and out of the vehicles. That was really cool. Triple K Leather Goods. They've got that beautiful chest rig for revolvers and big caliber guns. That was just some...
Who were the company that we saw with the big Pelican cases with the
with the valves, with the air release valves that we were going to use for equipment storage?
Yeah.
Equipment lockers? I can't remember. I know
we got their card.
We've got their card, and I got pictures.
Yeah, that was
cool. I think we're going to have a few of those at the ranch just for shits and giggles, just because it's...
I want one for myself. I think that's...
It's sweet.
Yeah.
It's sweet. So the new binary target, and don't quote me on this, guys. I don't think that binary is the right word, but it's called Firebird targets. And they're just a little puck, and you put them out there, and boom! And they're kind of like going back to the old days of the exploding targets that are now illegal.
Mm-hmm. Those are illegal?
Yeah. So if you have any...
No.
Yeah.
If you had any.
I remember taking a 2-liter bottle or 3-liter bottle, emptying out all the Coke, putting in a bunch of toilet bowl cleaner. And I'm sure this is completely illegal. I'm sure this is completely illegal. Now that I've said that, I've just incriminated myself. I didn't do any of this. Allegedly, this is what I know.
They told me you could do that.
Allegedly, this is what I know to be true. Toilet bowl cleaner, tin foil, and it creates hydrogen gas. And we'd put an exploding target on there and hit it with our BB gun. And I got to tell you, the flame ball that came off that thing was impressive. So I can't imagine why they outlawed them.
So wait a minute. The tannerite stuff is
no. Tannerite's
just the old stuff. That
this
came
is the
in
old
boxes,
stuff.
The old cubes or whatever.
Yeah, they were little styrofoam cubes with a little red dot on them, and they didn't say that any of that was illegal or anything. You just shoot it with your BB gun. If your BB gun was 1,000 feet a second or more. Well, we did. We had BB guns that shot, 1,200 feet a second. And you'd hit that thing and boom! And it was a huge explosion. Well, then when you put it on a tank of, hydrogen gas, then you've got a flame ball that looked like the Hindenburg. So the new one is some sort of binary, and it's called Firebird Targets, a thunderous detonation. Triple K Leather Goods, we saw that. That was really cool. We saw some really neat stuff for girls, and I don't know if it's really neat because Fabrizio, your wife said, nah, you're like, she wouldn't like that.
No pink.
No pink, right? But they were.
He likes pink.
He does. We're gonna get him a set of these.
G-string pink.
Yeah. What should we do? Should we do rainbow?
No, leopard.
Leopard.
Nice.
Yes.
So this is G-string too.
Yes. This is a set of hearing protection and goggles, safety glasses, that are all rhinestone encrusted in a lot of different patterns and colors and things. I was like,
What is it?
It's called Pack, the letter N, Heat. So Pack in Heat. They're really Gucci. Like, they're over the top, like, gaudy, but they're very cool. Like, for girls, it's fun. They love that, all that rhinestone stuff. They got rhinestones on their jeans, all that stuff. But it's really fun. Like, they got the leopard rhinestones on the patterns of their hearing protection and that, and they just basically bedazzle these things. It was kind of fun. So we're going to have some of those there because they're fun to look at. All right, so we got the Firebird targets. We talked about that. And Global Defense. Do you guys remember them?
Yes. We spoke before, right? The XDD, DI.
Yeah. The DID or IDI.
Optical.
Yeah. So they came out with a really cool IR invisible laser pointer. That's super affordable. Of course, they've got their red dots that are damn near indestructible. Mm-hmm. Those things are nuts. And they got that thermal they released last year.
On the 50.
On the 50. And they made some revisions for it this year. So he's gonna come out and set us up because Surefire's got that new vampire light. It's infrared and visible light. So you don't need.
That's been out for what? A year or two.
Yeah, they made some revisions to it though. This one is really cool because it's a single light, dual post, or single post in the back, and it's got a dual switch on it. So you hit one button and it turns on the IR. You hit the other button, it turns on the visible. That's really cool because then on your laser designator or your laser aiming device, you don't have to put in a substandard illuminator. Mm-hmm. Now you get a real illuminator, like booyah. And you showed me those the new night vision company. You sent me over to that guy. He's got the new photonics tubes that are like the new generation, and they're a lot brighter than the old photonics tubes, and they're very affordable. When I say very affordable, guys, we're talking about night vision, Gen 3, white phos, unfilmed, high-end, like whack 'em and stack 'em type stuff. And it's $6,000 for a helmet, for a pair of goggles. And they're all independent.
Six?
Not
bad.
Not bad at all.
What gen?
3.
3? Oh,
yeah.
wow.
3, unfilmed, white phos. And it was like, whoa. And it runs. The only bad part about this one goggle that they had was it would not run on an external battery pack. That being said, I know they're going to come up with an adapter that's going to screw in. You put the battery in there, and it's got a stud hanging off the back end, and you plug it into a battery pack. So, but all their other stuff is EMA cert or EMA compatible, so they can do that. So that was pretty cool. The ice plate thing, I thought that was really cool for warfighters. What else? Is there anything else? Outside of the amount of drinks and cigars and, oh my God, what else is there?
Yeah, we should put a little something in a blog, I think, about some of the other stuff that we saw, because there's just
too much. There's just way too much.
It's overwhelming.
But these are the highlights. I think these were pretty. I think this was a pretty good episode. I covered all my stuff. I mean, I was really blown away by that X5 carry, and then the X3, the 320 compact with the X frame. Zev. And I think their new way of describing what the OZ9 can do really makes people understand that if you get a large, let's say, frame, it's a slide. It's a large slide. You can get a large frame or a compact frame, or you can get the compact slide and frame with the compact or the full size bottom. So that was really cool. That there's interchangeability to it. The only thing that's dictating what size barrel you can put on there is you have to go with either a 19 size slide or a 17 size slide from the get-go. But you can put a compact lower on that 17, which I guess it's good for carry or something. I don't know why, or maybe on a holster for tactical operations. That way it's not hanging off the gun, but I think a shorter barrel with a larger grip for tactical operations that's the gravy to me.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, you got the usual suspect. You know what I mean? I was able to handle for once the Mazada, EWI Mazada, which is an interesting design. They always compare to the VP9 for some reason, because they're similar if you look at them.
Yeah, if you look at them.
But they have they're the point that I heard that actually, they just released a new version of VP9 based on the thing you find on the Mazada.
Yeah.
So that H&K actually upgrade VP9 with that thing, because they figured out that there's no price, because of course it costs half price of that.
Yeah, it's half the price, and it's basically the same gun.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
They got slightly improvement.
You know that VP9 is like 35 years old, right?
I know.
It had a predecessor, and I can't remember what the name of it was, but I saw one. No. It was the predecessor to it.
P30? No, PP something? No.
The one with the terrible trigger.
Yeah.
All right, so in wrap up, I think
the one you want with that, if you are going to buy one, would be the one that comes with the stock, which...
the VP7?
Oh, that you mean the MP7?
MP7, yeah, the MP7.
No. That handgun that you're talking about,
supposedly,
the first plastic one?
Somebody said that H&K is going to turn out that MP7 in a civilian version. I doubt it.
Who cares?
I doubt it. I wouldn't buy it. I'd stick with a B&T. What was the other one that we were playing with? Oh, it was at the end. We were there with Mike. We were getting ready to leave.
Global Ordnance.
No. Was it Global? No. Global Ordnance is the Koreans. What's the... Come on. It's the new...
the people with the ammo in the can.
Yeah. They were at the entrance to the main floor across from like Global the Dodge Ordnance. Ram. And
it was Geo.
All right.
Geo.
But what was... They're the importer for... What's the gun?
I don't know. It was a neat little...
Oh, it's the new PCC. Oh man, it was sweet. Okay, it was absolutely sweet. It's the Contender. Oh man, there's so many damn guns. What is the what is that B&T? B&T versus the Strybog. That's what it is. It's the Strybog. If you guys want a really cool, sub
gun that won't break the bank.
Yeah, won't break the bank and everything. It's the Strybog.
Yeah, and the mags were like $20 a piece or something like that. It was all the gear train was
Saturday night special.
Yeah. It looks like a B&T, but it doesn't have the B&T price tag, and it's damn near close to like perfect. Like I was looking at it, I was like, wow. Here, they're listing out for $660.
Nice.
Yeah. Put a stock on or put a brace on it, and it's done.
Oh, yeah.
You've seen this thing.
Yeah.
It's a proprietary mag, again, but nonetheless, I'm sure Magpul will have a mag for this thing in the next 2 years. But they're already $20 a mag, and they're like nothing. An 8-inch barrel length. You get 3 mags. They're all 30 round mags, 9mm, and it's under $700.
That's plug and play. If you want that platform, I would take that over an MP5 any day of the week.
I think I'd
and I've never even fired one. And you know what? I'm saving money. I don't have to spend $75.
But I've got to sell.
magazine.
I got to sell my CZ Scorpion first. And the other thing that
It's a good gun.
It's a great gun, and this is a little bit smaller and just as nice as the CZ. So
I want a BM59. I saw one once again a classic firearms. I think is the boot, and I got a tear in my eye. It's not a legit one, but it's close enough to the original one. The Beretta BM59.
oh yes,
Got memories attached.
How
to
much
it.
is it?
yeah.
1,200.
Okay. Write a check. Send it.
Yeah, it's not horrible.
No. Actually, it's a great rifle for the. Actually, it's way better than
Yeah.
the M14. I mean, way better than
Yeah.
M14.
Well,
So-
the Italians made it. Of course it is.
Yeah.
You know, Americans are about Italian guns. We love Italian guns.
We were talking about that earlier while we were polishing out his trigger, and I'm sitting there and he's like, this, that, and the other thing, and I said, Beretta, it's a beautiful gun. It really, when I say beautiful, I mean it's elegant. The design is elegant, the styling is elegant, the inside, the operation, the way it feeds from the top of the magazine directly into the chamber, it's beautiful. It's got too much
Engineering.
surface on surface because it will never work in the desert, and it doesn't. I mean, we all know this, and it goes on and on and on. But
Right, but those are all conversations that 99.9%
and the way they
of
carry-
the public will never.
and the way they carry a gun, like safety on, decocked, and all, it's like that's not tactically sound because it's the Italians. So all right, fine, whatever. And that double action first pull, and
let's talk about their shotguns.
Oh, yeah.
there is nothing like a Beretta
yeah.
shotgun.
Well, it's a big thing.
They
got some nice.
they have
What?
nice ones. They have nice
Benelli,
ones. But honestly,
Beretta.
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 Middle-
I'm not talking about the other one.
Beretta, middle of the road, all the way down, the middle line, all the way down. I think you can use them as a boat anchor.
You want?
I don't like them.
I love mine.
I think it's a waste of cash.
I love mine. Absolutely. The semi-autos that I got, they are phenomenal.
And I'm not talking semi-autos. I'm sorry. I should have said that. But they're brake action. They're over and unders.
No,
You can wipe your butt with them.
No, I-
it's
I
a
don't-
waste of cash.
I can't afford them.
I
But the
don't-
semi-autos I have are great guns.
Yeah, I still like my Benellis. I'm sorry.
I don't like. I don't.
Well, I got a Benelli that I like too, but that's more of
Supernova.
an entry gun.
I don't buy Beretta for one reason, which most of you guys don't know probably. Beretta equal a Springfield Armory in Italy. If you know what I'm saying.
It's like Corona beer in Mexico.
No. That kind of people.
What do you mean?
They're now Second Amendment people in Italy.
They're anti-gun in Italy?
They're okay selling
All right, well,
shotguns.
that's gotta be a different
All right,
podcast.
we're not
We
talking.
gotta do a different podcast
We're not
about
talking
that.
about Beretta then anymore. They can.
They like shotgun to the hunters, like Boba. You call it Boba? Those guys.
Yeah.
did this.
Yeah, but
all
here-
right. So they can
here,
slurp
hold on,
their
hold on,
they can
hold
slurp
on.
their pasta
Hold on.
without my wallet.
I
then.
want to consider the source here on this first off, okay?
Uh-huh.
The man that hasn't been to the Ferrari plant. I have a hard time with this, okay? There's
won't
a
go.
lot of
I had two
questions
cars in
about,
Italy that were French.
about the authenticity, okay? I
He's
want to
the
know
only
how
Dago.
Italian you are, okay? That's all I'm saying. We're just kind of questioning
I like
this, you're a
McLaren.
plant.
I like McLaren. So
The only Dago in Venice driving around in a Renault.
Peugeot
Oh, it's a Peugeot. Even worse. Even worse.
205 XR, rally car. All right, it's gonna roll up.
Now I got to tell you, I would not go into the Ferrari plant either. I think I've taken them apart. I've seen them apart. New ones, old ones,
Nightmare.
sideways. I've been around them for so long that it's like, It just, I don't know. Like you said, McLaren, Koenigsegg, some of these other guys, and they run circles around them. But that's just me.
Hey, I'm
So-
the guy that my wife says one day, I'm a closing, so I don't want to get this too much. She's like, oh, look at the truck. It's amazing. $60,000 one day can buy it. I'm like, screw that. If I have $60,000, I'd buy a Porsche. I'm not going to buy a truck. Although in Illinois, it might be a little hard to drive.
Yeah, with the potholes. Yeah, you might want off-road tires on that Porsche, bro. So I think we had a pretty good episode. We went round and round. We'll put some stuff in the notes, guys, for everybody. Some of the links to all this stuff. If you got a check out the Meridian Defense stuff. Check out some of the things from Fab 4 and SIG, definitely. Supposedly they're moving that MG 6.8 into the civilian market as well. So as soon as it launches, there's a semi-automatic version, so you can get belt fed, stick fed. It's really cool.
Top of your car.
If you have a chance, go get yourself a bottle of Lemba, Agricole. This stuff is really nice. your wife or
The
girlfriend
best
will love
rum out there.
it. It is the best rum.
I'm not a rum drinker, and that is some great rum.
That is just it's absolutely amazing. All of their rum, because they've got three different versions, and it's beautiful stuff. So, all right, let's wrap this up. This was went a little long, but thanks guys for paying attention and listening. And if you guys have any questions, shoot us out to them at membership@1881ranch.com. You can also reach us by phone 708-803-1881. And until next time.
Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in to another installment of Home on the Range. Remember, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Till next time, stay wild and true to your heart.